I just got out of a press conference with the Church of Jesus Christ about the news that they bought the Kirtland Temple, and I asked them if they were going to paint the Kirtland Temple blue. So that's how my day's going. The church history department had just invited a bunch of media outlets like the Desert News, Salt Lake Tribune, KSL, and some other independent advocate organizations like Scripture Central to attend and just have like a Q&A with Elder McKay, the church historian, Matt Groh, and Emily Utt in the church history department. And so I asked them like what their plans were for renovating these buildings. Were they going to keep them open for a long time? Were they going to plan to shut them down to do some historical preservation work? What was the timeline there? And if so, were they going to think about painting the Kirtland Temple blue? They were pretty candid and were like, honestly, we just haven't even thought about that yet because we just need to get into the buildings. We need to do so much research. We need to kind of evaluate where the buildings are at. And we need to let the building talk to us to see what the building wants us to do before we even contemplate putting together a schedule for renovations and historical preservation. As far as the blue Kirtland Temple, so not a ton of people realize that the Kirtland Temple used to be the color blue, or rather like that's how it initially was, or like a bluish gray kind of stucco. It wasn't until much later that it became this iconic white. And so when I asked like, what, do you have any thoughts about maybe like putting it back to its original initial bluish state? And they were like, honestly, like, you know, there's just a lot of questions that go into that sort of thing. Like what kind of moment in history are we trying to represent? How it initially was? Or, you know, the Kirtland Temple has a long history after its initial opening. So, you know, what are we trying to represent there? So we've got way more research to do on this temple before we can even contemplate to make those decisions. And I thought that was, you know, really respectable and responsible of them. So if you want to learn more about this cool new transaction the church made for acquiring the Kirtland Temple, definitely go to newsroom.churchofjesuschrist.org.